This is Radio TV Phono Nut, and here's one from the You Can't Save 'Em All pile. This was a cheap Symphonic mono record player from the mid-60s. I picked this up at the flea market the other day for no other reason than to use it for parts. As you can see, typical mid-60s BSR record changer. Not for sale tag in it. Don't know why they wanted to keep it. But yeah, she told me that it was working fine until some kid dropped the tone arm on a record and it broke the needle. Let's see if there's any truth to that. Let's just find out what's really going on here. Okay, we're turned on. The speaker's making noise, but there's no platter rotation. I'm getting a little cartridge activity. Okay, this lever is all stuck. Turn it by hand and see what happens. And it's obviously not dropping the record down. Alright. Well, she is right. The needle is bad, but nothing else is working either. So that makes me wonder, did the kid drop the tone arm on the record and break the needle back in 1967, and this thing's been sitting in a barn somewhere since then? That's what I'm more inclined to believe. Now, let's flip it over to the other side, see if the other needle has any activity. Yeah, but it sounds like crap. Alright, let's open it up and see what the inside looks like. I was able to get the two front screws out for the motor board by the hardest. I've never seen phonograph screws so tight in this application. The two back here will not come out, but since we're not saving this thing anyway, or we're not going to be putting it back together in the more conventional way, we'll just tear it apart in a more unconventional way, because this thing's garbage anyway. And as you can tell, looks like a mouse or a rat has been living in this thing at some point in time. Okay, here's the changer removed. It could probably be cleaned and lubricated and put into service on another unit, which I might do with it later, or I might use it for parts. One thing I noticed is the platter mat on this is in good shape, surprisingly enough. Most of these BSR platter mats from this period have turned to dry rotted and are crumbling apart by now. And I don't know of anyone offering exact replacements for them either. So, at least we have that. Here's the speaker, a little 3x5 inch speaker. And surprisingly, it's still good. The voice coil doesn't drag, and the varmint that lived in this thing didn't chew the paper out of it, much to my surprise, and it does appear to be a Japanese speaker. And do I detect a bit of Magnavoxism here with these inverted nuts that hold the amplifier in place? I wonder if Symphonic was inspired by Magnavox, or was Magnavox inspired by Symphonic? I always hated these kind of nuts. And now the bottom is completely fallen off of the cabinet, and these nuts are not wanting to cooperate as far as coming out, so I may just be busting out the whole front panel, and I'll worry about getting the amp off of the panel later. Okay, by inserting the needle nose pliers in the nut like this, and pulling as hard as I can against each handle, I'm able to get the nuts off, but it's a slow process. Well, when the nut refuses to come off, you just simply bust the front panel in two and slide everything out. And not only do I think the speaker is Japanese, this amp looks Japanese, and and the tube clip sort of gives it away. It's usually only Japanese equipment that had that type of clip, and the tube looks like it's date coded the 26th week of 1964. Let me go throw this cabinet on the trash heap. It looks like the cover's soldered in place, and looks like I see a Sprague atom capacitor under there, likely a replacement from way on down the road. Yep, Sprague atom, 50 microfarad, 150 volts, looks like a 1980 date code, so we know this was used at least until the 1980s before it became a place for a rat to live. And I bet you this capacitor is still 100% good. I'm going to pull it out and check it, and if it's indeed good, I'll keep it. On the modern meter, we read 52 microfarad. That's very much within tolerance. And it reads about 50 on this old relic. And no power factor. Test it for leakage, and that's good. As far as I'm concerned, that capacitor is just as good as the new ones I have up there. It actually may be better. It's made in the United States and not China.